The Conservatives have made big gains in the local elections, winning seats all across the country from every other party. It's their best result since 2008. As well as taking control of 5 councils in England and Wales, they've made significant gains in Scotland. Labour has taken a beating, losing control of its former stronghold of Glasgow, amongst others. UKIP's vote has collapsed, and the Liberal Democrats had varied fortunes. Results are still coming in, but as of a short while ago, the Conservatives have gained 316 seats in England. Labour have lost 144 seats. The Lib Dems have lost 25, and UKIP are down 141. In Scotland, the SNP have lost 7 seats. The Tories have gained 164. Labour have lost 133. In Wales, Labour have lost 107 seats, but that's better than the losses that were expected. The Tories have gained 80 seats. Plaid Cymru have also gained 33 seats. The Lib Dems have lost 11.
Total 238,628. Simon, Sean Llewellyn, Labour and Cooperative Party. First preferences 210,259. Second preferences 24,603. Total 234,862.
The Conservative candidate is the new Mayor of the West Midlands.
Andy, the Conservative Party candidate, is duly elected as Mayor for the West Midlands Combined Authority.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've been determined to make sure that this is a government that works for the whole country, and it is encouraging that we have won support across the whole of the United Kingdom. But I will not take anything for granted, and neither will the team I lead, because there is too much at stake. This is not about who wins and who loses in the local elections. It is about continuing to fight for the best Brexit deal for families and businesses across the United Kingdom, to lock in the economic progress we've made and get on with the job of making a success of the years ahead. The reality is that today, despite the evident will of the British people, we have bureaucrats in Europe who are questioning our resolve to get the right deal. And the reality is that only a general election vote for the Conservatives in 34 days' time will strengthen my hand to get the best deal for Britain from Brexit.
Well, it's interesting. I think the results have been extremely mixed. We saw Andy Burnham's results, 63%, but I watched the individual counts because they announced all 10 individually. I know it was long and tedious, but actually winning a majority in virtually every count as well. Saw Liverpool the same. Now, the North West is where the Conservatives really targeted, and Theresa May was up there a number of times. So I found that quite reassuring. But we always knew it was going to be close in the West Midlands, and that's exactly proving it to be. So I don't think today, for us, it's been tough. You know, let's admit it, it's been disappointing. But there have been mixed results, and where people were predicting we might have been wiped out in certain areas, like in Wales in particular, and we might have experienced difficulties like in the North West, that hasn't happened.
Well, I think this was always going to be a very, very difficult election for us, Adam. It's been a bad night. You know, there's no point in putting a gloss on it. But I think, as you said, what we've seen is Conservative voters, if you like, putting country before party, which is a good thing. Basically, or should I say UKIP voters, going over to the Conservatives because Theresa May at the moment is riding high. She has this prolonged honeymoon period going on. That will change. That will change. And I think we're already seeing it change. I think you'll find that over a period of the next months, going into years, these negotiations go on. People will see that she backtracks, that she backslides, and those people will come back to us. But there's no getting away from it. Obviously, very disappointed by last night, but we were steeling ourselves for that.
Now, imagine this. Imagine Theresa May on the 9th of June with a majority larger than Margaret Thatcher's. I don't have to imagine, but imagine what that means for your family, what it means for you, what it means for your job security, what it means for your hospital and for your school with a colossal Conservative majority like that. I don't need to imagine that. I grew up in a community under a government like that. I grew up in a community in the 1980s with a government with that kind of majority taking us for granted in that kind of way. I grew up in a community where half of my mates' parents at any given times, me included, spent our time out of work. Why? Spent their time out of work. Why? Because we had a government that could take Britain for granted, that could take you for granted, your family for granted. I want to lead a country that says that that is not acceptable. I am determined this next 5 weeks we will put an end to that coronation that Theresa May now expects.
Oh, I'm delighted. The SNP's won this election. We've got more votes, more seats. We are the largest party in more councils than any other party in Scotland. It's a clear and emphatic victory for the SNP. We're the largest party in all of Scotland's 4 biggest cities, Edinburgh, Dundee, Aberdeen, and here in the city of Glasgow, where we have today ended 40 years of Labour control of Glasgow City Council. So this is a fantastic victory. In terms of the Tory support, that's come directly from Labour. It's not the SNP losing ground to the Tories. If you look at Labour and the Tories' support, they're almost a mirror image of each other. And I think the real soul-searching in Scotland today has to be done by the Labour Party. But for the SNP, I'm delighted. It's yet another clear election victory. And of course, it's a great springboard for the general election just a few weeks from now.